Ryan Reynolds?
Yeah.
Why do I always fuck that up? I always fuck that up. What said just doesn't make any sense. It's just like so silly to say. It's not a well thought out.
It's going to be based on evidence. It's not going to be just a lawsuit. It's going to be the kind of lawsuit that is full of evidence, admissions, documents, which prove exactly what she did and how she bullied her way through the process to take over the movie and used her PR people to try and destroy Justin. There's a number of different defendants here. Stephanie Jones will be all over this complaint. That is the PR agent who was supposed to be working for Justin Baldoni. Leslie Sloan, who's another PR agent who will be part of this lawsuit. That was Blake Lively's. Blake Lively will be sued, and we're carefully considering other people that will be sued also. Ryan Reynolds, for sure. What Ryan Reynolds, has seemingly done, right, is used his power and influence to not only help Blake Lively take over this movie, but, he's used it, on Deadpool and to make fun of Justin Baldoni.
Deadpool's done. We will never let our husbands go see this movie, any of this. Ryan Reynolds is done. There is something very disturbing about this man and the way that he plotted to just infest every layer of Justin Baldoni's life just to show him who had power and who had money.
Come here, girl. Who are you? Oh, I'm Deadpool. And I guess you're Deadpool too. But in here, everybody calls me Nice Pool. Oh my goodness, wait till you see Lady Pool. She is gorgeous. She just had a baby too and can't even tell. I don't think you're supposed to say that. That's okay.
And I guess you've already met Mary Poppins, a.k.a. Dogpool. Careful where you put your hand. She's 90% spotted. She'll let you know it. You let this little flirt out of your sight for 1 second and she starts shopping for a new papa. If you can't be a responsible pet owner, then maybe you don't deserve this little unicorn. Guilty on all charges, Your Honor.
Is that if your wife is sexually harassed, you don't make fun of Justin Baldoni. You don't make fun of the situation. You take it very seriously. You file HR complaints. You raise the issue and you follow a legal process. What you don't do is mock the person and turn it into a joke. There's no question it relates to Justin. I mean, anybody that can watch that, the hair bun, the comment about the pregnancy. I mean, it's pretty obvious what's being done. But again, if somebody is seriously sexually harassed, you don't make fun of it. It's a serious issue.
Welcome back to Tea Time with Tina. Let's talk Hollywood, land of glamorous premieres, red carpet smiles, and secret text chains that can blow up faster than microwaved popcorn. Joe Rogan just took shots at Ryan Reynolds, and the timing couldn't be worse. The spotlight is sizzling around Ryan Reynolds, who skyrocketed to worldwide fame with his iconic portrayal of the wisecracking mercenary, Deadpool, and Blake Lively, his equally starry-eyed spouse whose image once was a good in the eyes of fans. Mix in the undeniably wholesome Justin Baldoni, and you'd think we have the ingredients for a feel-good rom-com. Instead, we've stumbled into something closer to a dramatic soap opera, complete with leaked messages, a rumored power-hungry dragon squad, and an actual lawsuit. The story takes twists no one saw coming. A beloved anti-hero actor who might be getting too big for Marvel's liking, a luminous actress whose behind-the-scenes maneuvering has left some folks alarmed, and a multi-talented filmmaker named Justin Baldoni who somehow landed in the crosshairs, despite apparently just trying to make a heartfelt movie.
Nothing good ever comes from pointing the finger at somebody and feeling intimidated, or either one of those things foster unity. And I think what we need more of is compassion, understanding, and empathy. And I also believe it's important to, regardless of whether there is an oppressor or an oppressed, to acknowledge hurt where it exists.
I mean, honestly, the way that I get into a character is through their style. So it was more about who Lily is that was so fascinating to me, is that she's a walking, talking contradiction, yet it's perfectly harmonious for her.
So, Blakey no likey, then Blakey's gonna go after you and poison the whole cast against you.
And I'm excited to have a creative partner in that with you. And it's just really exciting. There's so much more to say. There's so much I want to say. There's one thing that I do need to say.
which is, I am so sorry you have been through what you've been through with these other filmmakers and producers or whoever the people were that you worked with. And it just pissed me off. I'm just still kind of blown away that this is the industry that we're in and that you've experienced that as a woman. And I know I don't need to say it, but that's not at all going to be or will be, and hopefully it's not been the experience with me. There's nothing more exciting to me. I get to work with Blake Lively and have her, all of her. And that's what I want. And so there's been no hesitancy with me sending you the final draft file. I am totally fine with that. The only reason I didn't send it today was because I was trying to implement and add your notes into my working draft, which is already like I'm all over that draft right now. So there's a whole bunch of new stars that are going to be collated pages.
If you ever thought Hollywood's script was as simple as boy meets girl, prepare to have your illusions shattered. This saga proves that when the cameras stop rolling, the real plot can be far juicier and infinitely more bizarre. Now don't forget to like and subscribe because, let's face it, I'm nothing without your support. Now back to the tea. Let's rewind to when Deadpool was but a risque dream. Ryan Reynolds, once known for rom-coms and comedic side roles, saw the offbeat mercenary as his golden ticket. In a move that felt like an underdog finally roaring to life, Reynolds championed an R-rated superhero movie filled with enough snark and fourth wall breaks to make any studio executive sweat. That leaked test footage? Rumor has it Reynolds had more than a casual hand in it, but who's keeping track? Marvel, perhaps swept up by Reynolds' charm and the possibility of fat box office returns, allowed him more creative say than they typically grant. He was practically the homecoming king of the Deadpool set, an honor that definitely came with swagger. Sure, the first movie scored big at the box office and the second one didn't do too shabby either, but success has a funny way of inflating egos faster than a helium tank at a kid's birthday party.
Somehow, I have no idea how we've managed to keep it secret, given the internet and all this stuff, because somehow it hasn't come out. I would say that they're more surprises because they have beginnings, middles, and ends.
Well, that is also accurate and weirdly high praise as well. It was just one of those, it felt like a live action Pixar movie. It was something that, I wanted to do something where nobody was being stabbed in the face. Yes. There was almost no blood at all. I think I got a little paper cut on the movie. That was about it. And something that my kids can watch, but also as a parent, the parents need to get punched right in the heart. Is
Totally correct about Ryan Reynolds. What is that, like, personality test? Is it called like an Enneagram personality type 1 through 9? Well, Ryan Reynolds on the Enneagram is a psycho. That's what he is. He's just a psycho. His number is psycho. There you have it, ladies and gents.
Insiders started whispering that Reynolds had become the studio's favorite headache, the kind of star who's as indispensable as he is insufferable. One minute, he's cracking the perfect on-brand joke. The next, he's ignoring those worried Marvel execs waving red flags like frantic airport ground crew workers. Meanwhile, on another film set entirely, Justin Baldoni was living his best life. Known for his genuine philanthropic streak and roles that would make your grandma say, "Now there's a nice boy," he decided to direct, co-write, and even star in the adaptation of Colleen Hoover's It Ends With Us. If that sounds like a lot of hats to juggle, don't worry. Baldoni seems to have an endless supply of positive energy and a can-do spirit that could put motivational speakers to shame.
I had nerves because I cared so deeply about the women and the people that go through this every day.
It's toxic, and it has to end.
Enter Blake Lively, talented, striking, and never one to settle for a one-note role. At first, the partnership looked golden. Fans of the book were thrilled to see Lively in a lead role, and Baldoni's heartfelt approach promised authenticity. But according to some rumblings, friction brewed when Lively felt her character wasn't getting enough depth. To be fair, she's not the type to stand on the sidelines, especially if the camera isn't capturing her in the best possible light. And Baldoni, genuinely earnest but spread thinner than a single pat of butter on a mile of toast, may have been too preoccupied with his triple duties to see trouble brewing. If the initial friction was mild, it flared into something bigger when rumors emerged that Baldoni was calling Lively challenging behind the scenes. Given his track record of positivity, that's like hearing the Dalai Lama call someone a bit difficult. People raised an eyebrow. Could Lively really be so overbearing that even Mr. Nice Guy couldn't handle her? Or was she just championing what she believed was the character's rightful spotlight? Just when things couldn't get more dramatic, a batch of text messages leaked, like a hacked group chat you'd swear you never typed in. In these messages, Blake Lively casually referred to her high-powered allies, including her husband, as her dragons.
She's the mother of dragons in Game of Thrones, and that's what Blake Lively says in a text message, that she too has her dragons, Ryan Reynolds and Taylor Swift. That's, again, believed to be the other person, and that they are powerful advocates for her. And while it seems to be said like, I'm so lucky that I have them as great storytellers to help me rewrite the script.
Now, naming your crew after fire-breathing mythical beasts isn't inherently nefarious, unless you're using them to roast anyone who dares cross you. Fans and industry folks alike began to speculate. What exactly did the dragons do to protect Lively's image? Subtly planted tabloid tidbits? Cozy interviews that spun negative press into glowing fluff pieces? If you've ever had a friend who calls you my ride or die, it's like that, but with a lot more firepower and, apparently, backstage muscle. The leak turned heads at Marvel, because if Reynolds was part of this ring of draconic defenders, maybe his behind-the-scenes influence went beyond comedic cameo ideas and script punch-ups. Suddenly, the question wasn't just about Lively's demands or Reynolds' comedic genius. It was about the possibility that these two were orchestrating a shadowy PR puppet show. Folks at Marvel, who were already antsy about Reynolds' growing control over Deadpool, began to see this as even more reason to clip his wings, or in this case, his dragonfire. Marvel executives, presumably clutching stress balls in both hands, expressed immediate concern. Were these jokes all in good fun, or were they something more personal? People joked that if the script gave Deadpool lines about a corny, do-gooder director who tries to do it all, it might look suspiciously similar to Baldoni's real-life persona. Marvel probably pictured the headlines: Deadpool burns humanitarian director, fans everywhere cry foul. When the studio demanded rewrites, Reynolds apparently balked harder than a cat asked to take a bath. He insisted the jokes were standard Deadpool fare, edgy, meta, and sure to get a laugh. But Marvel, worried about potential legal entanglements and the ever-important brand image, wasn't laughing. For them, this was a red line. The comedic gold had veered into questionable territory, possibly orchestrated to settle personal scores. In a move that would have made tabloid editors jump for joy, rumors broke that Marvel filed a lawsuit or serious legal motion to keep Reynolds from overruling corporate decisions. Because, nothing says, "We value our partnership," like slapping your star with a legal muzzle. The reason, insiders say, was fear that giving Reynolds free rein would embolden other actors to transform big-budget blockbusters into personal soapboxes. Predictably, Hollywood gasped. Reynolds, beloved for his brand of witty banter and philanthropic tidbits, found himself in a real sticky situation. Suddenly, all those comedic barbs he'd tossed off so effortlessly for years were coming back to haunt him. Other studios hit pause on various Reynolds-led projects, wanting to see if he'd emerge from this fiasco with his comedic reputation intact, or if the lawsuit would morph him into a cautionary tale. Do not let your star become the de facto CEO of your franchise. Fans, of course, were torn. Some insisted Reynolds was just being his usual irreverent self. Others whispered that maybe fame had gone to his head. After all, running a multi-million-dollar franchise isn't the same as tweeting a snarky joke. While Reynolds wrestled with the wrath of Marvel, Blake Lively's world was simultaneously being turned upside down. Those once adoring media outlets, enchanted by her fashion sense, her picture-perfect family moments, and her comedic social media banter, now had a different storyline. The possibility that Lively was secretly controlling her own PR to overshadow co-stars and spin narratives her way. The Dragons fiasco blew a hole in her armor of sweetness. Overnight, a rumor emerged that Lively might be more akin to a strategic general than a passive princess. While some people admired her for defending herself in a tough industry, especially one that doesn't always afford women much agency, others viewed the leaked texts as evidence that her tactics went from self-preservation to sabotage. So was Lively just a savvy strategist who recognized the cutthroat nature of Hollywood? Or was she a behind-the-scenes puppeteer orchestrating negativity toward anyone who dared step out of line? Public opinion landed somewhere in the messy middle. Yet one thing was clear: her Golden Girl reputation had sprouted some suspicious scorch marks. Let's address the elephant in the room. Could Ryan Reynolds actually lose the role of Deadpool? Honestly, it's like imagining peanut butter without jelly, a Marvel movie without post-credit scenes, or a toddler saying no only once. Unthinkable, but apparently on the table. Some insiders teased the possibility that Marvel, desperate to maintain their upper hand, might recast the Merc with a mouth. Imagine the meltdown across social media if that happened. There's no doubt Reynolds is intertwined with Deadpool's identity. from the marketing campaigns to the comedic style that turned the franchise into a box office beast. But Marvel also knows that no actor is bigger than the brand. If letting Reynolds stay means letting him run the show, well, that's a slippery slope, one that could see other stars pulling similar power plays down the line. For Reynolds, losing Deadpool would be more than a typical contract dispute. It would signal the ultimate comedic tragedy. The role he lobbied for, nurtured, and publicly championed might slip through his fingers due to his very own behind-the-scenes maneuvering. Talk about irony. We love to think of Hollywood as all glitz and no drama, but let's face it, drama is the secret sauce that keeps Tinseltown tasty. The Ryan and Blake versus Marvel fiasco underscores a greater tension that's always simmering. Who really calls the shots in the industry? Studios believe their IPs are the crown jewels. They'll guard them like knights at the round table. Yet, in the age of social media, an actor with a massive online following can wield influence that sends studio heads running for cover. Justin Baldoni, ironically, emerges looking squeaky clean. The guy simply wanted to direct a meaningful adaptation, maybe share a few motivational speeches, and remind humanity to be kind. That's it. He likely never dreamed of being the comedic punching bag in an R-rated superhero flick's script. Yet, here we are, discussing how the nicest man in show business wound up tangentially fueling Marvel's biggest internal showdown since someone asked, "Are we really giving Howard the Duck another cameo?" The fiasco might end up reshaping how much leeway studios give their big stars. Maybe Marvel will walk away from this with a renewed vow to remain the captain of its own billion-dollar ship. Or perhaps Reynolds and Lively will prove that star power can blaze through any corporate blockade when wielded shrewdly enough. And so, dear audience, we reach the final act of this wild cinematic soap opera. On one side, we have Marvel, brandishing a possible lawsuit, trying to contain the unstoppable comedic force that is Ryan Reynolds. On the other, Reynolds stands, smirk firmly in place, desperate to preserve both Deadpool's irreverence and his own creative domain. Flitting nearby, Blake Lively contends with a public relations fiasco that suggests she might be the strategic genius behind more than one high-profile meltdown. Meanwhile, Justin Baldoni goes on making the world a better place. Will Reynolds emerge victorious, wisecracking his way back into Marvel's good graces? Can Lively's star power fully recover from Dragon Gate, or will she forever be associated with hidden agendas? Is Baldoni actually just the real-life Captain America, minus the super soldier serum? These are the questions swirling around the industry. However it unfolds, one thing is certain: Hollywood is the best at manufacturing drama, and it's never short on irony. For now, we can only watch from the sidelines, munching our popcorn as the once lovable Deadpool star squares off against the behemoth that launched him. Will it be a triumphant underdog story or a comedic cautionary tale? We'll have to wait for the final credits, or the next leaked text thread, to find out. After all, in showbiz, anything's possible, and the dragons aren't done breathing fire just yet. Thanks for joining us today. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on your favorite celeb drama. Until next time, stay tuned, stay safe, and stay informed, only on Tea Time with Tina.